What's up, sports fans? I'm KC James with this Super Bowl special report brought to you by Sprint. And you know how I do it. I give you the 411 and I keep it real. And if you don't know, you better ask somebody. Well, it is on and cracking because we are all set for Super Bowl 48, the Denver Broncos against the Seattle Seahawks, and it is a classic matchup. I mean, this is like a heavyweight fight between a puncher, the Seahawks, and that smash mouth, physical, get after it, athletic defense against the Denver Broncos, who are the boxer. They float like a butterfly and sting like a bee, that high powered, high octane, throw it all around, get after it, and put up as many points as possible offense. Again, this is a fantastic matchup, and it is going to be a great game, and we're going to break it all down for you and give you the real deal. First of all, you have to look at what's been happening, the controversy around the comments or the rant that Richard Sherman, the Seahawks All-Pro Stanford grad cornerback, that rant after the game against the San Francisco 49ers for the NFC title. Well, you stick a mic in a guy's face like Richard Sherman, I mean, that is what you are going to get. As he says, in the words of Popeye, I am what I am, and he gives you emotion. It is raw. I don't think that rant was contrived. I mean, he retracted a little bit since then. The comments he made about Mike Crabtree, they also have a beef that goes back a little bit, so they really don't like each other as those two football teams did. So I think it was real and legit, but we also have just beat it to death, and we have dissected it and chopped it all up. Enough about Richard Sherman. Let's see what he does on the football field come Super Bowl Sunday, because he will get plenty of chances. When you look at this game, again, you have to look at this Bronco juggernaut offense that set all kind of records. Peyton Manning had the greatest year any quarterback in the history of the NFL had, and he just won his 5th MVP award and Offensive Player of the Year. Of course, who else would win it? Against this Seattle defense, who really knows how to crank it up and get physical. Seattle is #1 in the league against the pass, giving up only 172 yards a game, where the Broncos are averaging 340 yards passing a game. So something has got to give there. And for Seattle, they are going to have to get up in Peyton Manning's face. They're going to have to get him out of his comfort zone, and they have the front seven that can do that. And they also, beside Richard Sherman, you got Earl Thomas, you got Bobby Wagner, you got all these guys on the defensive side of the ball that, again, are fast, they're athletic, they're physical, they can take on a couple of blockers. You don't really know which one of them to block, and that's why this is such an intriguing matchup, because you have contrasting style, and styles make fights, and styles make Super Bowls, and that's why I think this is going to be such a good one. You look at the Broncos, of course, offensively, led by the orchestrator himself, the General Peyton Manning. I mean, boy, he is like the leader of the Boston Pop Symphony. You got those wide receivers. They're like the horn section. You got the rhythm section is your running game. You got a great offensive line that keeps Peyton Manning upright. And this guy is the most prepared quarterback that's ever played the game of football. I mean, you can debate whether or not he's the greatest of all time and whether or not this Super Bowl, if he wins it, legitimizes that. Well, I don't think he needs to win another Super Bowl to legitimize how great of a quarterback he is. Is he the greatest of all time? I guess that's a debate that we'll have till the end of time. For my money, he sure is the greatest of this era. Sorry, Tom Brady, but I got to take Peyton Manning, because this guy lives, eats, breathes, sleeps, thinks quarterback. He sees what's happening before it happens. He is better than anybody I've ever seen at at looking at the play, seeing what's coming, calling it, at the line of scrimmage, and controlling that part of the football game. And that's what this is going to come down to. The Broncos, offensively, too, have that two-headed monster in Monty Ball and Noshawn Moreno that have rushed for over 1,600 yards when you combine them, so they also can run the football. But when you look at these weapons, Demaryius Thomas, Julius Thomas, Eric Decker, Wes Welker, Peyton Manning knows how to use them all. He spreads that football around. He plays that no-huddle, fast break style of football, and the Seahawks are going to have to figure a way to slow that down and stop this Denver juggernaut. And they're going to have to do it by getting pressure on Peyton Manning and pressure on him without blitzing. Because when Peyton Manning sees the blitz coming, he will dissect you like a surgeon. So Seattle's going to have to get into Peyton Manning's comfort zone, push him around, knock him down, put pressure on him. You don't necessarily have to sack him, but you have to pressure him. Otherwise, Peyton Manning will just absolutely just tear you apart. He is the best ever at doing that. That's why he had 55 touchdowns and only 10 interceptions this year, threw for 5,400 yards and a 115 quarterback rating. When you look on the other side of that fence, Russell Wilson, in his second year, has done an outstanding job at leading this Seattle Seahawk offense. They don't ask him to do nearly as much, of course, as Peyton Manning, but what they do ask him to do, he does it well. Number one, control the game. Number two, not turn it over. And number three, not make the crucial mistakes that cost you games late. Russell Wilson is great at decision making. He's a really mature guy when you look at the fact that he was at North Carolina, transferred to Wisconsin, becomes a starter there, wins a Rose Bowl, also a baseball player. So he is a real cerebral guy, appreciates the opportunity. The moment is not too big for him, and he is going to have a big impact in this game coming up on Sunday. And then offensively, of course, it all revolves around the beast. That's Marshawn Lynch, who has just been absolutely destroying everybody in this postseason and all season for the last couple of years. Nobody runs as hard and as physical as he does, and they're going to need a big game out of the beast for them to be able to win on Super Sunday. The receivers, when you're talking Doug Baldwin, Golden Tate, again, not the names and not the athletes the Broncos have, but they're guys who can make plays and will have to make plays in this game. It's going to come down to, can the Broncos offensive line protect Peyton Manning? Can the Seattle defense put pressure on Peyton Manning without blitzing, not turning the football over? And can Russell Wilson make enough big plays to get his team enough points to have a chance to keep Peyton Manning off the field? Because the best defense against Peyton Manning and the Broncos is a good offense. They will need to run the football, run it effectively, eat time off that clock, keep Peyton Manning on the sidelines, and that gives the Seattle Seahawks their best chance to win. Again, you got both these teams that are well coached, and John Fox and, of course, Pete Carroll. They are prepared, they're professional, they are ready to go, ready to rock. It is going to be a great football game. But at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, come Sunday night, the team that I say is going to host or hoist that Vince Lombardi trophy is going to be the Denver Broncos and Peyton Manning. I think they just have too much offense, too many weapons. They are too good. It is their time. They're going to seize the moment, and I like the Broncos to win this game in a good one, 24-20. We'll see at the end of Super Bowl 48. I'm KC James with the Super Bowl special report brought to you by Sprint, and you know how I do it. I give you the 411 and I keep it real. And if you don't know, you better ask somebody. I'll see you after Super Bowl Sunday.